bonjour au NoReset 2. Mon nom est Nico encore pour le host. On va avoir la run de Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge en tasse par Gogo. Je te laisse le micro.
Thank you, Nico. So today I will present you a task of this game, which beats the record by about 30 minutes. But I guess we'll start now. So I'm gonna start the playback in 3, 2, 1, go. So since this is a task, it starts from console boot, as always, and it goes by clean cart rules, which means that we'll have about 2 minutes of intro cuts. Of the intro cutscene to explain what this task is. So Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, as weird as it sounds, is an official game that was released on the GBA, even though nobody seems to know about this game. It's the third Banjo game, and it follows the formula of the first 2 games, which means that it's a collectathon platformer. So, as I hinted before, this task will be about 30 minutes faster than the record, which beats the game by collecting 50 jiggies in order to open the final door to the final boss. So in this task, we will only be getting 6 jiggies instead. We will be basically skipping the entire game. So get ready for it, because it's gonna be a crazy one. So, just to explain the lore, this game happens between Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, so it's sort of an interquel between the two. So as you can see, Grunty was still stuck under a rock, and the way that Klungo found to actually save her is to put her in a robot. So, and the first thing what Grunty will do in this game is to basically send Kazooie in the past, which will hopefully prevent Banjo and Kazooie from ever meeting up. And so, in order to fix that, Mumbo will send Banjo in the past too, in order to save Kazooie. So in this game, you actually do not start with Banjo and Kazooie, only Banjo. And this is, after this cutscene, this is when the real gameplay will start, and where most real-time speedruns would start, as you would be able to skip the intro by using an already pre-made file. So with this, we'll be able to get our first move of the game, which is Pack Whack. It's something that's necessary, and with that, we'll be able to see some good stuff, and that will be quite interesting. So you can see that the game tells us that we need to open our first level, but we'll take a quick little detour by gaining a lot of speed. And with that, and the way that it works with this game is that if you basically switch directions on a ledge above water, you will gain a lot of speed, and it caps at about 6 times the normal speed. And for whatever reason, once you go about a triple your normal speed, the game just gives up on trying to apply gravity on you. So we can do some really high jumps that we're really not supposed to do. And with that, we'll be able to get a lot of overworld collectibles before opening our first levels. Because yes, we will not only be opening the first level, we will be opening the second level as well. Simply because it's a bit faster than having to go there to open one level at a time. So now that we'll be able to open the first level, we have Jiggy, which is gonna lie to us. It says that we'll be collecting our first Jiggy, but this is currently our 6th one, so nice try. And with that, we'll be able to, with 6 jiggies, we'll be able to open our 2 levels that will be opening this level in this run. So in this run, there's 5 levels, and then a 6th one, and then a 6th door that leads to the final boss. But we will only be needing the first 2. You'll see why in a couple minutes. All right. And after this cutscene, we'll finally be able to enter our first level of the game. All we've done so far is stuff that was in the overworld.
Do you still need to collect notes?
Yes, because we still need notes to learn moves in this game. So, alright, this is our first level. So far, so good. Hey, Lightmob, what do you think of this first level?
I think it looks pretty sweet. I would love to spend my life there.
Yeah, it's a pretty good level. Alright, let's see what else there is to do in this level. Alright, we're done with it. We just went here to collect one move, which is a way to just climb ladders in this game. That's it's the only thing that we really needed to do. After that, we'll go straight for the second level. This level will definitely be... will definitely have more content, I promise. So this level, Briggle Beach, you can kind of get a clue that this is where we'll actually be saving Kazooie. And this is what we'll be going right off the bat. We will simply go straight for a boss fight, and from there we'll be able to free Kazooie. So this boss fight goes in 6 phases. The first 3 are quite interesting because Grunty will try to charge at you until she hits a wall, except what we'll do is that we'll make her charge at a wall that is right next to her, so we will basically skip like a lot of like charging attacks that way. And with that, we'll be, by doing some claimer damage boosting, we can stun lock her pretty much on one thing, at one place. And with the second half of this fight, we'll actually be able to basically just do some waiting while doing that, which is good because we're actually doing some RNG manip for the next sections at the moment with all this swag.
You really are doing RNG manip there.
Yes, I actually am. Although, if I were to not do that, there would be enemies that would get in my way right after the fight. So hurry, we have Kazooie.
So this is Kazooie from the past.
Yep.
Okay.
But somehow she has forgotten all the moves from Banjo-Kazooie, so the only thing that she remembers how to do is a backflip. So right after that, we'll actually be needing to learn one more move, which is learning how to shoot eggs. And believe it or not, this is the last ability of the game that we'll be learning. So we're basically done with this level, so what we'll do is that we'll just do some funny boosts just to save about 1.5 seconds on our way to the exit. But you may be wondering, how on earth would you even reach the final boss? Like, there's solid walls like around the entire entrance. Well, what we'll do is that we will basically clip into that bridge and redirect all of our speed towards the right, and with that, it's just enough to clip through the wall. And with that, we pretty much skip most of the game, about 30 minutes of gameplay. Also, we're not done with skips because this boss fight is done with 3 phases, and you might have noticed that first phase was a lot shorter than it should have been. In this game, like it takes a shortcut to know like whether it should give you a knockback when like you damage an enemy, and it checks whether you're in the egg firing mode as the egg hits an enemy, in order to know whether you get a knockback or not. And since we're in the middle of a backflip, the game just say, you probably rolled into the enemy, so we'll just give you a knockback. And you may see some pauses there. That's RNG manip to get good questions. Sometimes you can lose up to 1.5 minutes by getting mini games instead. So by doing that, we've been able to save like close to 8 seconds compared to like a no pause manip. another thing, now that we're in the final phase, we will also be doing a funny glitch, which is at the end of a phase where it's possible, we will basically make the ghost like be stuck so that it doesn't travel to the other side of the arena, and it allows us to basically skip time, because as you can see, normally when you hit the robot, the ghost flies out to the furthest point from the robot. We basically skip that and save like a second that way. And this third phase is basically the touch scroller, so we do get to do a lot of stuff while doing some RNG with it. Every jump that I do actually advances the RNG, so it's nice that we get to do that.
Tornado Banjo.
And yeah, it may be hard to see right now, but we're at 4 hits remaining on Grunty. So time is coming up soon. It's gonna be on the final hit. But yeah, with that, we can do some funny business with the homing spells. And with that, the 2 hits are gonna be pretty quick. And time. This is the end of the RTA timing. Now, since this is a task, we're still technically not done with the run, as there is one more input to do, which is coming up in about a minute, just to skip a text box, just to start the credits. So with that, we'll actually be able to know what happens once we defeat Grunty. So now that we've defeated Grunty, we will have Banjo and Grunty, and Kazooie that will get sent back to the present, because after all of this happened in the past before Banjo and Kazooie have ever met. And perhaps sadly for Grunty, she does return under the rug just to have a continuity with what happens in Banjo-Tooie near the end of the game.
So everything's back to like how it was at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, exactly. So that way we do have continuity, which what happens between the other 2 games that happened on the N64. So we're still not done. We still have one more input to do. Technically, all these text boxes can be a skip if we wait long enough. But you can see that perhaps Mumbo should have studied the spell a little more, because we now have 5 Banjo instead of 1. Maybe it's not quite as normal. And this is the input right there to skip this this text box. And that concludes the task. Again, I would like to thank Lightmob for coming to the couch for this run. And thank you so much for watching this task. It's been a pleasure. Perhaps it will inspire some of you guys to try this game. I know that it's not a game that a lot of people know, but if you like the first 2 games of the franchise, I would definitely give that a go.
Well, thank you, Go-Go, for this amazing task that just completely breaks the game into 10,000 pieces. Next up, we had a bit of changes. So we're getting Live a Live from Electra, which is going to be the ninja scenario. It's genocide ending. So that's coming up next. And also, that's going to be the end for me as a host. I'm going to leave you with Ice Mouton for the next couple of runs. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the rest of your weekends.
Thank you.